Wayne, it is so cool to meet you. I am so in awe of your talent.
Thank you.
As the supervisor, do you get to do as much hands-on stuff as your team do? And do you miss it?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, no. So I do get to animate, but not as much as each individual animator would do. But I do find time to animate. It is a lot of times during the mornings, during the 9 to 7 hours. I would be really there for the crew. So if the animators needed feedback on their shots, I would be there for them. And also in meetings regarding a sequence, the information from the sequence from all the different departments, I would be in those meetings. I'd be in editorial meetings, and all of that information then it's in support of the animation team. And so it was only after hours I would go home and have dinner with the family and put the kids to bed. And then that's when I got to, I would go back in and I would finally, that was kind of like my dessert in a way. I would get to animate just for a little bit. I didn't get too many shots to animate, but it was very fun.
You've been with the Walt Disney Animation Studios for 15 years now. But how do you go from working a construction site to building and bringing a character to life?
Oh, how did you know that?
Research.
Oh, okay, that's great. Well, yeah, no, I worked with my dad. Actually, he was a contractor, and yeah, no, he. Uh, it was funny because when we were teenagers, he would bring us and show us a lot of things, in construction, and we would just help out. And a lot of times it was really, I think, just uh, he would just bring us to the job sites and stuff like that. And I learned a lot about like electrical and things like that. And uh, it actually paid off when we were remodeling my parents' house and then my house. So it was very nice. But uh, how was the transition? Is that what
Yeah.
your question
Yeah.
was?
How do you
Uh,
go from a construction site to being at Disney for 15
well,
years?
it was it's funny because I don't want to say anything bad toward construction work, but it's hard. It was hard. So it was a good motivation to not do that. So yeah, no, I studied. I went to my uh, the college, state university, Cal State Fullerton, and they had a great animation program. And I studied traditional animation, mainly traditional animation there. The last semester I was there, they finally offered a CG or computer animation course. But really, it was my friends who we all got together and we'd bring our computers in from home, and then we brought it to the school every night. And these were like big monitors and the big towers. We couldn't do it on laptops at the time, and so we would bring it into the classroom labs and work on our animation there. And in a way, that really kind of prepared me, I think, for working at a studio, because it was the group of friends. We would critique our own, each other's work, and that's what we do at Disney. We show our peers, and we try to really elevate our craft. And we geek out over animation. We talk about animation together. We watch films together. So, um, it yeah. I guess that was the transition. I guess really is it was uh, hanging out with some animation fans, and just we loved the craft.
So, what was that first day at Disney like for you? Because that's got to be the dream come true when it comes to working for an animation studio. That's the
Oh,
one that everyone,
absolutely.
yeah, and I'm sure
Absolutely.
people are listening as well, going, "How did he do it? And how do I do
Oh,
it?"
yeah, no, yeah, so it was a dream come true. The what we do at Disney, I was a animation assistant, called an animating assistant at that time, but it's like an apprentice. So I was an apprentice under another supervising animator at the time. His name was John Ripa. And what I love about Disney is that, uh, and even more so back then, it kind of followed the model where you bring in an apprentice and they study under one animator, a supervising animator, for about a year, 9 months to a year, and uh, they just learn the craft. So my mentor really shared and taught me. I feel like I was when I put together my demo reel, I focused mainly on acting because that's what character animators do. We're creating a performance that's it's not real, but we want it to feel believable, like the character that we're animating is coming to life. So I put together a demo reel, and it wasn't great, but I'm so thankful that it was able to get me into Disney. And really, I feel like my education really started on the job, being trained by my mentor.
So then, you've been doing this job, and I think what I found really interesting from the docu-series as well was when I was watching the writer and director Jennifer Lee, and she was watching a moment where the orchestra had come together for the first time, and they were
Mhm.
playing Into the Unknown, and Idina Menzel was standing there, and Jennifer just got giddy, and she started getting emotional. When for you during production do you get that moment where you get the chills and go, "Oh my God, we're doing this! It's all coming together"?
So many times. It's
Yeah,
not just one. And uh, I think the cameras just caught that moment for her at that one. But there were so many times in dailies, and uh, it's amazing. There was one meeting I was in where uh, it was in all departments too. Oh man. Uh, so yes, hearing the score for the first time, because a lot of times we hear the scratch,
yeah.
or the temp music score, and then when we hear the real orchestra, that's amazing. When there was one moment where in the song "Into the Unknown," uh, it's the shot where Elsa casts her magic, and now the magic, or the snow, is now creating the apparitions of the different spirits. So you see the water knot jumping out and then splashing, and then you see like the earth giants, and then it turns to the wind in that one shot. And I remember we finally saw that in effects, and it was like, whoa! I remember I actually let out an audible like, whoa! Like that's amazing, because it was in character animation doesn't have that final look of the particles and everything for the effects brings to it, and also in lighting that they do to it. Um, so I remember going, whoa, and then uh, I don't know if I should say, well, the production coordinator, she was crying during that moment, and we were all like, "Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful!" Like she was getting emotional just seeing how beautiful it was. And but there are many moments where it's it is mind blowing with all the artists, when they come together and to create something so amazing, and it really just elevates everything. So yeah, there are many times I'd come home and tell my wife like, wow, this is amazing what I just saw today. And it's kind of nice that in this docu-series, it lets the audience see a little bit of what we experience.
I think that's why I loved it. We get to go behind the scenes. And I think your passion, the fact that you guys are so passionate, that's why you produce such beautiful work. So thank you for your passion. And hopefully we get to chat about something else soon.
Oh, thank you so much.